Okay, one other note I want to get to regarding Donald Trump's Greenville, North Carolina MAGA rally yesterday. It wasn't just the send her back chant about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar that was notable at yesterday's Trump rally in North Carolina. Another thing that happened is that another one of these protesters showed up with a picture of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and he was very aggressively tossed out. So that happened again yesterday. But then there's a third notable incident from yesterday's rally in North Carolina, which is that Donald Trump started using a KKK slogan, a Ku Klux Klan slogan from the 1960s, 70s, I believe it is. And that slogan is love it or leave it. And this was in relation to the 4 ethnic minority Democratic congresswomen with which Trump is feuding. Take a listen.
They're always telling us how to run it, how to do this, how to do that. You know what? If they don't love it, tell them to leave it. I don't know. And now watch, I'll go back tonight. Oh, sir, that was so controversial.
It's not just a historical KKK slogan in general. This is specifically a historical North Carolina KKK slogan, which is where Donald Trump was for this rally. The KKK used love it or leave it as a sort of a motto or slogan to fight communism and integration. If you don't love segregation, if you don't love capitalism, then either leave it or accept it. That's basically the way it's going to have to go. And this was a common slogan on KKK banners back in the 1970s in North Carolina. And once again, this is the type of dog whistle that is a signal to people who recognize the language, to the white nationalists. And it has very strongly coalesced white nationalists under Donald Trump. I interviewed Richard Spencer a couple of years ago on the show, alt-right white nationalist leader. And he said, listen, we understand the limits of what Donald Trump is able to say publicly, but we know the language and we understand the signals. Trump has a history of using these slogans with dirty pasts. America First is another that I believe he even used during his inauguration, seemingly innocuous with a very ugly past that we talked about from the early 20th century in the United States. As I told you earlier this week, you have to be ready for a very racist and xenophobic 2020 campaign. And one element of being ready is not to allow the right to do the shame campaigns around those who allege racism. I'm not going to redo the entire story. I did it earlier this week. But the right has waged a very successful campaign whereby they turn around allegations of racism on those who are calling out the racism. They say, why do you see race everywhere? You are actually the racist. Or you can't really know if someone is racist in their heart and mind. Therefore, you should never say that someone is racist. We cannot fall for it, okay? I already mentioned that earlier this week. And so what we need to realize, once again, is that this is a viable strategy for Trump, pointing out the reality of love it or leave it, of send her back and all of this stuff. If we imagine we just have to show Republicans the origins of these phrases and then they'll see the light, wrong. This is a viable strategy for Donald Trump. And as disgusted as I am, and as many of the people in my audience are with the go back to your original country stuff, the love it or leave it, the America First stuff, Republicans are loving it. Okay, they're eating it up. There's a new YouGov poll which asked people, what do you think about Donald Trump's tweet that these 4 congresswomen, or however many he was referring to, should go back to their, quote, original countries? Republicans love it. Okay, 48% of Republicans think it was great. 16% of Republicans said it was good. And 24% of Republicans said it was okay. This means that 88% of Republicans believe that Donald Trump's tweets telling Americans to go back to their original countries was acceptable to some degree. Now, in contrast, 87% of Democrats believe that it was not okay for Trump to do that. 57% of independents also believe that this was not okay. So this is a culture war. This is not a disagreement on policy. This is not merely showing them the racist and xenophobic nature of what's going on. We increasingly are seeing all of the characteristics of fascism building here, as per Umberto Eco, his 14 signs of fascism. We've got powerful and continuing nationalism. We have a disdain for recognizing human rights. Look at what's going on with the caging of kids at the border. We have the scapegoating of enemies. This includes these 4 Democratic congresswomen, Democrats in general, Obama, foreigners, S-hole countries, whatever. We've got delusions of military or aspirations of demonstrating military supremacy, the parade with the tanks. Rampant sexism. Trump is accused of 15 or more sexual assaults and rapes and boasts about his actions with women. Controlling mass media. Well, Trump is trying to anyway. He has the help of Fox. Hasn't totally succeeded so far, but he wants to. And he has disdain for media, which is another sign of fascism. An obsession with national security. We see this through his rhetoric on immigration. We have to have a country. They're all against us. I'll protect you sort of rhetoric. Religion and government becoming intertwined. That one's sort of there. Trump speaking to the March for Life or that anti-abortion thing, something that presidents don't always do. Corporate power being protected. Obviously, it's Donald Trump after all. Labor power being suppressed. Absolutely. A disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Trump hasn't read a book maybe ever. And we see constant disdain for culture and more sort of sophisticated literature and thinking and philosophy. Cronyism and corruption, of course. Fraudulent elections or claims of fraudulent elections to suit the ego of the leader. We absolutely have that. And then there's an optional 15th sign of fascism, willingness to lie, which I probably don't have to talk too much about with you today. Let me know what you think about all of this, including this as a viable campaign strategy for Trump. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Today's sponsor is Skillshare, and I'm excited to tell you that everybody in our audience is getting 2 entire months of free access to Skillshare when you click the link underneath this video. Skillshare is the site that offers over 25,000 online courses on almost any topic you can imagine: cooking, meditation, photography, video editing, Photoshop, managing a small business, almost an endless list. And whether you're trying to get ahead in your career, maybe you want to learn new skills that will make you better at your job, you might just be exploring a new hobby and you're trying to find new ways to be creative in your personal time, Skillshare's the perfect place to fully immerse yourself in whatever you're trying to learn. I really enjoyed the class on more advanced video editing techniques because it's something I've been wanting to improve at, but have been very busy hosting the David Pakman Show for the last few years. Once again, the David Pakman Show is giving you 2 whole months of access to every single class offered by Skillshare. After those 2 months, if you want to keep your subscription, Skillshare's super affordable at less than $10 a month. Get better at whatever it is that you're passionate about, or discover something brand new that you didn't even know that you would love, and join Skillshare's other 7 million users by clicking the link underneath this video.